So here we have a male teacher who is responding to backlash that he got for letting a bunch of his female, I think high school students, take his hair down at the end of class. Let's go to the video.
Go ahead and stir the pot a little, shall we? Last Friday, 10 minutes before dismissal time, I decided to live stream my students helping me take my hair out. There was quite the discourse in the chat, which had people saying this was inappropriate and other people saying this was completely fine. There was nothing wrong with what I was doing, and people were just making it weird. So of course I had to bring this issue to the big stage. I would like to represent myself in this case, Your Honor, if I may. Number one, for a little context, I had a hair appointment immediately after school, and I needed my hair taken out beforehand. I would have taken it out the night before, but that Friday we had a camera crew coming in to shoot a promotional video, and I was one of the ones being interviewed. So I had to look presentable, so I didn't take my hair out. I didn't have the time to do it all myself because it would have taken me forever. So naturally I asked about 4 or 5 of my over 100 best friends to assist me in taking my hair out, and they all agreed.
So he says, so naturally he asked some of his students to help him take his hair down. I wouldn't say naturally because I don't think I've ever seen a video of a woman asking her girl students to help her take her hair down at school. It just seems a bit unprofessional. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, it seems kind of like you asked them to do it for free because you couldn't squeeze it in your schedule. Imagine if somebody had asked a bunch of students to wash their car because they wouldn't be able to make it to the car wash. You know what I'm saying? Then you'd be like, and that's outside of the other implications that could make this weird. Let's continue though.
Number two, this was at the end of class. This week we were doing STEM fair presentations. Since it was Friday and all of my students did an excellent job on their STEM fair projects and presentations, I told them if we get one solid presentation in this class, I'll end class a little early and they can have fun and play basketball, darts, or be on their phones or whatever. And during that time, my team would help me take my hair out. A couple of these were students from my class, but others were students from other classes. I wrote all of them a pass at the beginning of the class period, requesting their assistance 10 minutes before dismissal. I told the teachers only send them if all of their work was completed and they had good behavior. They all met the criteria, so 10 minutes before dismissal, they showed up for their job.
So job is the key word because he got kids from not only from his class, but from other classes to come and do this job, which is from how many braids he had, he knew this would take a long time. So once again, it's like, did you pay them to do this? You know, because this is a job. Even though we know young girls like playing in hair and doing hair, it still was a job, you know? And it's like, why would you ask these kids to do this job without permission from their parents, especially with something like hair, where it's a lot of gray area in how that can be perceived? Let's continue once again.
My next point I'd like to make is if I was a female teacher, those people wouldn't be in the comments saying, oh, this is weird, this is inappropriate.
But I don't know of any case where we've seen a female teacher ask her female students to help take her hair down. So just from with the unprofessionalism of it, you should probably take a cue from that in of itself.
Because me personally, I don't think there's anything weird about this. People are saying, oh, that's too intimate. To me, it's literally just hair. It doesn't have to be weird.
Yes, it doesn't have to be weird, but it doesn't mean that's how it will go all the time. From what we can tell, it seems like you're a good teacher and you don't have any ulterior motives. But one of those young girls can very well like you, and she is waiting for the moment to play in your hair to get, that's where her way of getting close to you and getting intimate with you, right? This is the gray area where it can become weird. Now, the other way is we don't know really your character besides what you're telling us and showing us. If you were, let's say, R. Kelly, and you were having young girls playing unbraid your hair, you know, would you see the gray area then? Because we know Kells had some major problems when it came to his dealings with the young girls. There was some cases where he was sabotaged and by these human trafficking lying parents under false pretenses where they gave their daughters to him, you know, but by me using Kel's name in this example, I'm sure you can see how this whole thing can be a bad idea to do.
Some people have never had cool teachers, and it shows. I personally believe that building authentic relationships with students is paramount in being an effective teacher. I make sure my students know and can feel that I care about them beyond the schoolwork and all the stuff that I have to make them do. I take the time to get to know my students outside of academics, because caring for the whole child is what's important. Some of these students have been with me since I was a substitute 4 years ago. They see me as a big brother or a father figure, as some of them say. And me, I don't want kids of my own, so all of these kids are literally my children.
No, they aren't your children, literally. Literally, they are those parents' children. This is why you're blurring the line and don't think you need to check with those parents before you do something like this.
And in case you're wondering about their parents, most of them follow me on social media and always talk about my videos with their kids. They always tell me that they're so grateful that their kids have someone like me in their life. In my admin, they're well aware of my social media presence and they love my videos.
However, they weren't aware of this one until you went live with it, which would be considered an ambush if they didn't approve of it.
To me, this is just another wholesome moment that I'm having with my kids that I was fortunate enough to catch on film. I'm a science teacher, and one thing that I teach my students about is symbiosis. Symbiosis deals with the relationships between organisms. The type of relationship that I like to foster in my class is mutualism, or mutualistic relationship, which means both organisms benefit from the exchange. So when my students have good behavior, complete all their assignments, and do everything that a scholar is supposed to do, I reward them with downtime and just time to just be a kid, be on their phones, play games, gossip, so on and so forth. My students and I work hard and we play harder. I'm fortunate enough to have students that feel safe and comfortable around me, safe to come to me with their problems, their frustrations. They come to me seeking guidance and wisdom, or come to me simply to chill and hang out because they know that they have a safe space to be themselves around me. What I strive to do as an educator is be the teacher I wish I had grown up. I strive to be the teacher that makes my inner child happy, someone that my inner child would be proud of.
Listen, I don't want to discourage the brother from the fine job that he's doing. It looks like he's doing a great job, but I just don't think that he sees from a different point of view the gray area and the variables that can make this become a bad situation to be in or to create.
Yeah, let's go ahead and start clearing some people. Start off with this gentleman right here. You're letting your daughters play in a grown man's head. God forbid I had kids, but if I had a daughter with a teacher like myself, with a good heart, good spirit, sound mind, no, I would not mind if they took his hair out.
This is one of those variables that we're talking about. He's giving all the examples, assuming that he know this teacher is a good guy. Listen, most people we assume are good people. This is why we leave our children in their hands. And then years later, you find out, oh, this was the devil. And he been touching on such and such child all these years. You don't know just from the facade that they give you that they're a good guy or a good woman. So it would be best that you would take away the touching and the getting close to alleviate any of that. If you know,
that's what little girls like to do. They like to do hair and do nails and makeup. I have 5 little sisters. You bet your I done had a wig on my head before, had a whole lace front. I done got my nails painted, eyebrows done. Bro, this is what they do. As a father, I would even let my daughter do those things. Like if she wanted to paint my nails pink or freaking put a wig on me or do my hair or put makeup on me, I'm going to do every single one of those things. You know why? Because I'm secure in my masculinity. It's one thing that I think is stumping a lot of guys, a lot of grown men today, is they are not secure with themselves and they project their own insecurities onto others. Everything doesn't have to be weird.
I think what's weird is that you turned this into a masculinity debate. This has nothing to do with masculinity or wearing wigs or getting your nails painted by your sister. Okay, even though I'm not personally doing that. Listen, I ain't got no kids, but I got 3 nephews and a niece, and I love them all to life. But specifically for my niece, like I love her, but that don't mean I'm about to put no paint on my fingernails and no wig on to prove that to her. Listen, I'm gonna tell you this. A daughter will try to get a dad to put nail polish on their fingernails for bonding reasons. It's something they like to do. Much like a drunk will try to convince a sober person to have a shot with them for camaraderie reasons, for bonding reasons. I'm just saying you can find other ways to bond. But no logical person in their right mind would tell me that the sober person needs to take a shot with the drunk to actually prove his sobriety. You understand what I'm saying? That makes no sense. It's the craziest thing. It's like people like him and all of y'all are trying to convince me that in order for a man to be masculine, that he has to do feminine things to prove that. No. If that's the path that you want to take for you, cool. But that's not the necessary path for every man to take to prove his masculinity. But I'm saying this isn't what the conversation about. The conversation is about you had other people's kids kind of playing in your hair, and for some parents that can be considered weird, and that's mothers or fathers can take that the wrong way. So it probably would be best not to cross those lines. That's what this conversation is about.
This question, read this. You letting your daughters play in a grown man's head? Do you see how you're already trying to spin that? That's very telling of what you have going on upstairs.
It's not that he's thinking crazy upstairs, it's that he's thinking as a parent should think. And I'll tell you this. Years ago, there was a young lady who offered to braid my hair a few times. I disregarded it until her mother and father asked me, can she braid your hair? She was really good from how she did hair, right? And so I agreed then, and she braided my hair for a little while. But every time she did it, I went to their house. They were present. You know, it's the natural parenting process that you go through. You go through them. You don't go through her. And that's just out of respect for the parents and for everybody's safety and comfortability.
We as a people have to abandon this idea of, sexual intimacy being tied with getting your hair done. People have this view because typically you're intimate in a sexual manner with someone who does your hair. Automatically, this whole hair video is going to cause some people to be like, oh, where's that? That's weird. But again, it's very telling of your own state of mind. For you to watch a video like that, literally had the camera set up, protect myself, protect my students, y'all can see there's nothing suggestive going on. It's like family, it's like community, as people were saying in the chat. This is simply a wholesome, innocent, community-oriented activity. As people mentioned, hair is very important in Black culture. We connect and we bond through our hair.
And that's the truth. Our community, we bond over things like that. You know, your family does your hair. I've had cousins do my hair. My mother, she does hair. You know what I'm saying? She's done my hair before. And there's nothing weird about it. But my man, let me just place this example in your lap. If Nicki Minaj were to be doing your hair, if she was taking your hair down and braiding your hair and running her fingers all through your scalp and putting grease on there, leaning them titties on your shoulder while she doing it, I'm just saying, you're going to catch a different feeling from that, right? And so, yes, we can compartmentalize the difference in the different people that do our hair. You know what I'm saying? And I'm in no way saying that you view these young children as a Nicki Minaj type. What I am saying is that there's a very good chance, you being a grown man, that those young women who view you in a sexual manner, and that can be problematic. If one of the young girls was taking down her brother's hair, then yeah, it would be no feelings there. But adding a grown man, her teacher, to that situation can make it different. Listen, he's not lying. Sometimes women who braid will cross the professional line and get involved with a client that they like, and they like each other, right? But we're not just going to act like every woman that braid is out here being unprofessional and freaking all of their clients. You dig what I'm saying? And once again, that's not what the conversation is centered around. It's just for everybody's safety, comfortability, and protection. It's best that you, as their grown teacher, not have them doing that type of thing without clearance from their parents, without their parents probably being around. We're just saying that would be the better way to handle that. Because for certain parents that don't agree, had they walked in on that, or if they just tuned into the live, you know, some parents are going to be cool with it. Some parents are going to have a problem with it. And as we will show in a little bit, Cardi B was a person who saw this and had a problem with it.
So I'm seeing this discourse of the whole teacher thing that is getting his hair unbraided by these students and whatever. I've seen India get a lot of flack because A lot of people was like, girl, mind your business, shut the fuck up. But I understand where she's coming from, because like when you have a daughter, like when you have a child, like a girl, your whole mind and your perspective of things like change automatically like this. So me personally, since I have a daughter, I wouldn't want to see my daughter unbraid like any. I don't know, like I wouldn't want to see my daughter be around no man, period. Because like your perspective and everything when it comes to girls changes when you have an actual daughter, when like you birth a daughter out. Like the things that you would do as a teenager or as a grown up, you just don't want to see your daughter do or actually partake in. Now I'm seeing that the teacher might get fired. I don't think he should get fired, because you know what? This is the thing. We're lacking teachers right now. There's another teacher that came out on TikTok talking about that, like, there's like literacy crisis going on right now. And to be honest with you, like there is so much ways now to make money. Like social media has allowed people to make money the more a way easier way, that there's not a lot of people that wants to become teachers. Like first of all, like teachers don't get paid good, and nobody want to deal with your kids, to be honest with you. Like these kids nowadays, they're bad. They be hitting the teachers, they be beating the teachers. And some kids are so addicted to their phones, to their iPads, that they just, when they're in school, they don't want to pay attention. So as you could see in the video, you could tell that the girls really like their teacher. So that means their classmates like their teacher. And when you like your teacher, it makes you want to pay attention more in class, and it makes you want to do better in class. Like when you have a favorite teacher, it encourages you to go to that class and to like it. So I don't think he should get fired, because he probably has a good relationship with his students. And when you have a good relationship with their students, it makes kids enjoy the class, and it makes kids want to go to the class. So should he get fired? I don't think he should get fired. Maybe like, like probably have a little talk and everything. I understand both sides of the coins, because like I said, I'm a mother to a daughter. So certain things I wouldn't want to see my daughter do. But then again too, maybe we're overly thinking too much. When I was growing up, braids have always been a thing, but like let's be real. Like in the early 2000s, every girl wanted to learn how to braid. Like we ain't had no phone, no nothing. Even I know how to braid. Like y'all might not know this, but even I know how to braid. And like we would practically practice to do braids on anybody. Like I would braid anybody here, or if they allow me to. Like if my teachers would let me braid their hair and do their, I would have probably done it too. So I don't think the teacher should get fired.
So as you hear from Cardi and you hear from the comments, you see that different people are on different sides of the coin with this topic. Some people think it's harmless. Some people have a problem with it. But knowing that it's going to be parents of those kids who are going to feel the same way. Half of them may think of it like, oh, he good, ain't nothing wrong with this. And half of them may have a problem with it. So being that those half that may have a problem with it, you have to solve for the problem, which means solving for the problem means, okay, you tried it, but this isn't a good idea going forward. Going forth, it's some things that people don't want to see their daughters or their nieces or their sisters doing with a grown man. Doing their hair, it's a gray area. It's iffy. And we know girls like to do hair, as Cardi explained. But it doesn't mean that their parents or their guardians would feel okay with letting that happen with you. You know what I'm saying? They may not know you that well. Some they may know you more than others. For whatever the reason, this going forward probably wouldn't be a good idea. That's all we're saying. I also do not think that the young brother should be fired for this. Just have a talk and move on, because he seems like a great teacher. And so take that into account, because you never know when somebody could, the camera might go out, it could be live, and it could go bad. Girls, they like to lie too. So you never know whatever. But just for everybody's protection and comfortability, and for the respect of the parents, don't do it no more. But this your boy P Cam. Let me know what you think, but you don't think it. That's your boy.